This is Trade Alive with IUX, where markets come alive and trading gets real. Let's go live.
This podcast is brought to you by IUX Trading Platform, elevating your trading experience.
Welcome to the IUX Education Podcast from the IUX Trading Platform, powered by IUX Trading Platform. This is the podcast where we don't just look at the charts, we look at the people behind them. We believe that to become a great trader, you must first understand the minds of the greatest. We're not here to just skim the surface. We are here to explore the lives, the defining struggles, the internal and external battles, and the game-changing breakthroughs of legendary traders. We do this for one reason, so you can take their hard-won wisdom and apply it directly to your own path. Today, we are diving deep into the remarkable and often enigmatic journey of Ed Seykota. If you've spent any time in the world of trading, you've heard his name. It's often spoken in tones of reverence, and for good reason. Seykota is frequently called the Father of Computerized Trading systems. But that title, as grand as it is, barely scratches the surface. He's not just another name in finance. He is an icon, a true pioneer who saw the future of trading decades before anyone else. I want you to picture the world he entered, a world dominated by gut feelings, loud voices, and the chaotic, visceral energy of the trading pits. In that world, Ed Seykota was a quiet, logic-driven revolutionary. He was one of the very first to truly believe in data, to trust the system, and to harness the power of the machine, not as a gimmick, but as the core of his entire philosophy. His philosophy, which we will dissect today, is a fascinating and powerful blend of three distinct pillars: the cold, logical precision of technology, the deep, often ignored wisdom of psychology, and an almost Zen-like devotion to simplicity. This is not just a story about a successful trader. This is the story of how one man's singular vision, his iron discipline, and his relentless, almost painful self-reflection literally reshaped the world of modern trading. To truly understand how revolutionary Ed Seykota was, we have to transport ourselves back in time. We're not talking about the 90s or even the 80s. We're talking about the late 60s and early 1970s. What did trading look like then? It was almost entirely discretionary. The trading floor was a sea of men in colored jackets, shouting, screaming, using complex hand signals, and making multi-million-dollar decisions based on what they felt in their gut. The tape was a physical stream of paper, and a trader's worth was measured by the strength of his instincts and the volume of his voice. It was a purely human, emotional, and often irrational environment. Into this world steps Ed Seykota, and he couldn't have been more different. He wasn't a broker. He was an engineer, a graduate of MIT. He was wired differently. His brain didn't run on instinct. It ran on logic. He didn't believe in gut. He believed in systems. He didn't believe in rumors. He believed in proof. His career began in the late 1960s at a major brokerage firm, and that job gave him access to something that at the time was almost mythical, a mainframe computer. Now, I want you to completely erase the image of a laptop or a smartphone from your mind. These were not personal computers. These were room-sized behemoths, costing millions of dollars. They were loud, hot, and ran on punch cards. To program one, you couldn't just type. You had to physically punch patterns of holes into thousands of stiff paper cards, with each card representing a single line of code. You would then feed this giant stack of cards into the machine and wait, sometimes for hours or even overnight, just to get a result. And test it. What if you could see if that rule actually made money over the past 10, 15, or 20 years? This was the birth of what we now call systematic backtesting. He wasn't just testing ideas for fun. He was building models to execute them. He was programming rules into these massive machines to generate buy and sell signals free from human emotion. This was revolutionary. Decades before algorithmic trading or quant or AI became buzzwords, Ed Seykota was already doing it with punch cards. He was, in essence, the original quant. But as with any true pioneer, any true original, the path was not easy. It was isolating, it was frustrating, and it was fraught with failure. First, there was the external ridicule. His ideas weren't just met with mild skepticism, they were met with open mockery. You have to imagine the scene. The traditional, slick-haired brokers, the kings of the pit, looking at this young, quiet engineer and literally laughing. You're letting a machine, a glorified calculator, tell you how to trade? Kid, you're gonna miss the feel of the market. You don't have the instincts. He was an outcast, the computer geek in the corner, pursuing an idea that few understood and even fewer believed. But the external doubt, as hard as it was only half the battle. The internal challenges were far more painful. His early models failed, and they didn't just fail quietly. They lost real money. He has spoken about the agonizing losses he took from untested or poorly designed models. Imagine pouring weeks, even months of your life into painstakingly programming a system only to watch it lose money, day after day after day after day. This isn't just a financial loss, it's an intellectual and emotional crisis. It's your entire worldview, your core belief in logic and systems being proven wrong in the most public and painful way. This is the crucible. This is the moment where 99% of people would quit. They would abandon the machine, say the old-timers were right, and go back to the safe world of gut instinct. But Ed Seykota did something different. Instead of giving up on the system, he refined it. He learned from every single loss, every single bug, and just as importantly, he began to work on his own mindset. He had a profound, game-changing realization. The computer was only half the equation. The other half was the human being operating it. He realized that even with a perfect, profitable system, a trader's own psychology, their fear, their greed, their ego, their need to be right, could step in, override the system, and destroy the results. He discovered that he, the human, was the bug in the code. So what emerged from this fire? What is the core Seykota philosophy that he built over decades of trial and error? It's a beautiful, powerful trinity of rules, a three-legged stool that supports his entire career. Pillar 1. The trend is your friend. This is his most famous saying, and it is the bedrock of his entire strategy. Seykota is the quintessential trend follower. This is a critical distinction. He did not believe in predicting the future. He wasn't an economist trying to guess when a recession would start. He wasn't an analyst trying to guess what a company's earnings would be. He believed that was a fool's errand, an exercise in ego. His job, as he saw it, was simply to identify a trend that was already in motion, a market that was clearly already going up or clearly already going down, and then ride it. Just ride it with ironclad discipline. He wasn't trying to be a hero. He didn't care about buying at the absolute bottom or selling at the absolute top. He was there to catch the big, powerful, profitable middle. While other traders were trying to be heroes, catching falling knives, or shorting runaway bull markets to prove how smart they were, Seykota was content to be a follower. He simply flowed with the market's primary direction. It was an act of humility and admission that the market knows more than he does. Pillar 2, strict, asymmetrical risk management. This is the engine that makes trend following possible. If Pillar 1 is the what, this is the how. His rule was simple, brutal, and non-negotiable. Cut losses quickly and let winners run. Let's break that down because it's two separate, crucial commands that fight against our very human nature. First, cut losses quickly. Seykota treated a looting trade not as a personal failure, but as a failed experiment. The data said go long. The market disagreed. End of experiment. He exited to trade with no ego, no emotion, no hoping it would come back. This is mechanical. This protected his capital, ensuring he would always be around to trade another day. But the second half is the one where most traders fail. Let winners run. Why is this so hard? Because our brains are wired to do the exact opposite. We are wired to lock in small pleasures, taking a small, quick profit feels good, and avoid small, certain pains. Taking a small loss feels bad. Seykota's systems did the opposite. They were designed to hold on to winning trades and hold, long after most human traders would have nervously, anxiously clicked sell to lock in the profit. He understood the fundamental math of trend following. Your system will have many small, inevitable losses. That is a given. Therefore, your few winning trades must be massive. They have to be big enough to pay for all the small losses and still give you a large profit. The only way to get a massive win is to let it run. Pillar 3. Everybody gets what they want out of the market. This is his most unique, most profound, and most challenging belief. This is where he moves from trader to psychologist. Let me repeat that quote. Everybody gets what they want out of the market. What on earth does that mean? It sounds crazy. Does a trader who blows up their account want to lose their life savings? Seykota's answer would be, on a subconscious level, perhaps. He came to believe that the market is a giant mirror. It doesn't give you what you think you want, money. It gives you what your subconscious truly craves. If you subconsciously crave the thrill and excitement of gambling, the market will give you a thrilling roller coaster ride and take your money. If you crave being a hero who is proven right, the market will tempt you to fight the trend and add to a losing position, and it will destroy your account. If you crave drama and sympathy, the market will give you a spectacular blow-up story that you can tell your friends for years. But, Seykota argued, if you genuinely, deeply crave profit, which he defined as the calm, steady accumulation of assets, then you will have to cultivate the internal beliefs that match that goal: discipline, patience, emotional detachment, and the humility to follow the trend.
For Ed Seykota, trading wasn't just numbers. It was a deeply personal, reflective journey of self-discovery. So, did this unique blend of machines, trends, and psychology actually work? The results are not just extraordinary, they are the stuff of financial legend. The numbers are so staggering, they often sound like typos, but they are documented. In Jack Schwager's classic book, Market Wizards, which interviews the greatest traders of our time, Seykota's performance was documented. One client account that he began managing in 1972 with just $5,000 was worth over $12.5 million 16 years later in 1988. That is a rise of 250,000%. Let me put that in perspective for you. That is a compound annual growth rate of nearly 60%. Not for 1 year, but for 16 straight years. This period included the end of the gold standard, the massive inflation of the 1970s, recessions, booms, and the historic crash of 1987. While discretionary, gut instinct traders were being wiped out by volatility, his system just worked. These weren't one-off lucky guess trades. This was the result of a system, a philosophy, applied with relentless, machine-like discipline over more than a decade and a half. These numbers cemented his reputation as one of the greatest traders who ever lived. So why did Ed Seykota succeed where so many others, both then and now, have failed? It comes down to a synthesis. It's a three-legged stool, and all three legs were equally strong. First, he was the ultimate pioneer. He was a true innovator who combined technology with discipline decades before anyone else. He had the vision to see the computer's potential and the engineering skill to execute on it. Second, he embraced simplicity. In a world that is now obsessed with complex, black box algorithms and AI, Seykota's rules were famously simple. They were clear, they were robust, and they were repeatable. He understood that a complex, fragile system is often just a simple system that's broken. And third, and this is the most important part, he mastered the human element. He never, ever underestimated the role of psychology. He was perhaps the first quant to realize that the operator was the weakest link. His true genius wasn't just in programming the computer, it was in programming a system that protected him from himself. While other traders were fighting the trend, trying to prove the market wrong, Ed Seykota flowed with it. While other traders were blaming the market, their broker, or bad luck for their losses, Ed Seykota looked inward. He asked, "What in me created this result?" That is why he won.
Ed Seykota's legacy is huge. It's not just the money. He literally paved the way for the entire multi-trillion-dollar industry of systematic and algorithmic trading that dominates our markets today. But his deeper, timeless lessons are what matter for us, the traders on our own journey. Let's list them as clear, actionable takeaways. Lesson 1. Follow the trend. Don't fight the market. Your ego is your single greatest liability in trading. The market is always right, and you are not smarter than it. Lesson 2. Cut losses quickly. Protect your capital first. A small loss is a business expense. A large loss is a personal, emotional catastrophe. You get to choose which one you take. Lesson 3. Master yourself. Your trading results are a direct, unfiltered reflection of your internal beliefs and your discipline. If you want to change your results, you cannot just find a new indicator. You must first change yourself. His story is the ultimate reminder that trading is not just about charts or money. It's about growth, it's about discipline, and in the end, it's about understanding yourself. So, what can you take away from the journey of Ed Seykota? That true sustainable success in this field is not about one magic indicator or one secret. It comes from the alignment of all three pillars: your technology, that's your system and your platform, your strategy, your rules, and your psychology, your mindset. His mantra, "The trend is your friend," isn't just market advice. It's a life philosophy about moving with, not against, the powerful currents of reality. If this episode of Trader's Journey inspired you, don't forget to subscribe, like, and leave a comment with your single biggest takeaway from the legend of Ed Seykota. And if you're ready to stop fighting the market and start applying these lessons of discipline and systematic trading in your own journey, explore the free trading resources and tools at IUX Education. Until next time, stay disciplined, stay focused, and keep learning. Goodbye.
You've been listening to Trade Alive with IUX. Ready to put these insights into action? IUX is here to power your next winning trade.